Hi, my name is Liz Schlemer, and this is the next video in IME 443 Facilities Planning and Design. This video, we're going to be talking about defining departments. So again, within engineering, we always want to do excellent engineering inside of a context. In this video, we're going to be talking about some of the main steps in order to perform systematic approaches to facilities design. We're going to be talking about layout design in this skeleton of facilities planning. We're going to be talking about layout design, and following the systematic approach, we are on the second step, which is to specify primary and support activities. So when we look at this, what we're talking about is we're going to be able to plan what's going on in the facility by looking at the functions within the facility. And we call a group of workstations with like functions a department. Or planning department. And there's really three kind of major types of planning departments. One is a product planning department, and we'll go over various types of that. A process departments or support departments. So if we're looking at product planning departments, this is a group of workstations that work on similar products or components. So this would be a very common one would be an assembly line, which is what this is a picture of. So an assembly line is working on one product and doing many tasks associated with completing that particular production product. Sort of the next general types of manufacturing departments is a process department, which is a group of workstations containing similar processes. So this is very much like the the process departments that we have in Building 41, where we have lathes in one area and mills in one area and drill presses in one area. These are departments that are grouped together by process. So within the product planning department, there's kind of 3-4 different types of product planning departments. And if we put all these manufacturing products on this kind of grid where we have variety of products that are produced versus volume that is produced. So the first one is that it's low variety and high volume. So this is an assembly line. We're doing one or maybe two different products, and we're doing a very high volume on it, quite a bit of automation in the process, and you can imagine what that looks like. The next is if we look at a fixed material location. So this is low variety and low volume. So this is a picture of a ship, and what it means by fixed material is that the thing you're making is in one location, and everything that you're doing to it comes to that location. So a ship is in a dock or a dry dock, and all of the processes, the painting, the welding, it comes to the ship. So it's a very low volume and very low variety. The next is a sort of a product planning department, which is also sometimes known as a cell manufacturing. In this, we create a group of machines that process like products together. So it doesn't have to be all one kind of product. And you can see it's sort of medium variety and medium volume. Many manufacturing facilities lately use this idea of a product family or a cell manufacturing. So that we talked about this already, but the idea of a process department is when it's high variety and low volume. So one of the common things is called a job shop, where you bring a particular job to a location that has a variety of machines and processes, and they can do a one-off for you on this. A lot of R&D is this way also. And this group of workstations containing similar processes. So when we look at cell manufacturing, though, this is where we have a small group of different machines that can be grouped together to process a small group of parts. And this is kind of a picture of a cell, the idea that there might be multiple people in it. They're sort of in a small area working with a variety of machines. Now we're going to go through a process that's called group technology or direct clustering algorithm to go through the process of grouping machines together to process a family of parts. So what we do is we start with this machine part matrix. So the idea is that along each row is different parts that are being processed. So in this case, I'm just numbering 1 through 8, but they could be different SKUs, or they could be different names of products that are processed. And then each of these products or SKUs are processed on a variety of machines. So I have 1 through 6 there, but it could be a drill press, a lathe, a mill, the various machines that are used to process parts. And then the 1 indicates that in this case, like product number 1 is processed on machine number 1, machine number 3, and machine number 4. And what we do with this is we use this direct clustering algorithm, and I'm not going to read it. I'm going to go through it in a very quick method on in the example, but we're going to have a chance to do it in class. So we go through this direct clustering algorithm to go from this machine parts matrix to a different oriented machine. So you can see that the order has changed on the machines and the part numbers. And what it looks like now is that we're able to group machines 2, 5, and 6 together into one cell, and they're going to be processing parts 2, 3, 6, and 8. And then in another cell, we're going to have machines 1, 3, and 4 that are going to be processing parts 1, 2, 5, and 7. So what we've done is we've created 2 cells that are made up of these machines, and then particular parts are processed in there. So when we go through this, we start with a parts machine matrix. And we then order the rows and columns, sum the ones in each row and each column, and then order top to bottom in descending order and order of columns. So I'm going to go through this pretty quick, and you're welcome to follow along and maybe stop the video as you move along. But you come up with this particular matrix, and then you reorder it again, and you come up with this matrix, and then you reorder it again, and you come up with this matrix, and then finally you end up with this matrix. Now you can kind of see in that matrix that there's sort of 2 cells here that are separated from each other, and the machines and the parts are clearly defined. So that's where we came up with this particular grouping. Sorry, I'm going to go back to this particular grouping of machines. We went ahead and did that. So we'll go through this in class to practice this. And then the last kind of department is a support department. And in these, this is all of the other things in the facility that take up space. So I have a couple examples driven like quality control. There might be an area that you need to have quality control equipment. Accounting, purchasing, human resources. If they're part of your planning that you're doing for the facility, you'll need to include space for that. And something like a break room. Sometimes there's room for lockers for employees. You'll also need to figure out about restrooms and if there's space associated with shipping and receiving, you'll have to design for that. So there's all kinds of supports activities that also need to be included if that's part of your design.